In this video, we're going to be looking at codes of practice and what they mean for arts organisations, especially in the UK. Firstly, it's a good idea to start with understanding really what a code of practice is. So this is a set of written guidelines that are issued by an official body or a professional association of some kind on how members of that association should comply with its standards. This gives guidance on what to expect from an organisation. It also often covers how to make complaints and examples of best practice. Now, there are lots of different official bodies and professional organisations all around the world. On the screen here you can see a number of ones that you might already be familiar with. So the lion mark here on this egg, that is a symbol of an organisation that has drawn up a code of practice around how hens should be kept and how eggs should be cared for and distributed and sold in the market. You might have seen this ABTA logo before, so this covers travel agents in the UK, and these are travel agents. Anyone who's displaying this logo will be a travel agent that has signed up to this particular code of practice. Then also more internationally recognisable ones like this Fair Trade logo. Again, Fair Trade is setting out a code of practice as a set of ethical statements and best practice for businesses. The Gas Safe Register is for gas engineers, so that they can show that they've taken certain levels of training and professional competency so that you can trust their work. And also organisations like nursing organisations, health organisations will have a whole series of different codes of practice to govern what they do. Looking more specifically within the arts, there are a number of codes of practice that it would be useful to be aware of. So the first of these that we're going to look at is written up by the professional organisation AN. And you can find this online. This is a code of practice that covers fees and payments to artists and within arts organisations. It also covers things like contracts and negotiation and best practice in a number of different areas of exhibition practice, of workshop practice, and events or other arts activities that might be going on. And this states a set of commonly agreed principles for how organisations should work with artists within the visual arts. Another organisation who have been publishing different sets of practice are Artworks, and they're looking more specifically at artists working in participatory settings. So working with participatory projects, working often with large communities and in a very public manner. Some of the things within their code of practice are looking at ways in which projects can be evaluated, things like safe practice, and also trying to ensure professional competence. So making sure that artists really understand and really know what they're doing in situations of participatory art practice. Again, Arts Council England publish a lot of different publications, and many of those start to suggest different codes of practice. So you might look to them for best practice on work made for and by young people and children. Again, participatory activities and community activities, and things like evaluation. In a different sense, an organisation like DACS was set up as a visual arts rights management organisation. So this is to ensure that artists whose work is bought and sold and used in different media are receiving things like royalties for their work after it's being distributed. So they've got different schemes and different codes of practice that they're laying out. Things like the payback scheme, artist resale rights, and also looking at copyright licensing and best practice and ethical practice around those areas. So you should try searching online and see what different codes of practice you can find for your particular organisation, and what things are out there already published as best practice, and what professional bodies you could be looking to for guidance. To round up then, what are codes of practice for? So these codes of practice govern how member organisations should conduct their business. They're setting out things like agreed standards, things like ethical behaviour and best practice, and often how to handle customer complaints and guiding customers on how to make a complaint if something goes wrong. So if those standards aren't reached or are breached in some way. Also, you'll find that breaches in codes of practice will often lead to disciplinary action. Sometimes that'll mean that an organisation is actually denied membership of that group, of that professional body. So that means that they would be put outside of that membership group and would seem to be less trustworthy, less applicable for somebody to be providing goods and services.